Hey, yo, what's up? It's Flows. I came to the middle of a rural valley to focus, to realize that people energize me. This is the said valley. Very rural. There's actually no cell phone service. I came here to focus because I'm trying to finish my online master's degree, and I was living in a city with a lot of distractions. Dare I say, oppressive systems that are not meant for people like me. So here I am doing a little bit of a science experiment to see if being completely secluded in the middle of nowhere, specifically here in this very rural valley with no cell phone service, if I'd be more productive, if I'd get more work done, if I'd have more peace, if I'd be happier, if I'd feel energized. The answer is people energize me, and seclusion is not even really the best for productivity. If you know, it kind of seems counterintuitive, but so I decided to take a shot at freedom after being completely burnt out from society, trying to do what the norm was, trying to fit into molds and systems, do a little bit of a science experiment. I was a former middle school science teacher, so I have a basic understanding of scientific process. So I'm doing an experiment. The hypothesis was, if I go to a very secluded place in the middle of nowhere with a lot of nature, will I be more productive? Will I get my master's degree done? Will I work consistently with executive function? Or as I like to call it, executive dysfunction. The previous year was really difficult for me. It was a very big struggle living in a city with a lot of distractions, not having my own independent space, really feeling confined to systems and let's just say things for right now that were not healthy for me or convenient for who I am, how my brain works, how I operate, which ultimately led to me really not getting much of my master's degree done. And that's, time is money, you know, you're paying for the course. And I've been in this huge life transition, career transition for going on a few years now, just because of all of the trial and error and the learning and the experimentation and the downfalls, the struggle, the oppression, and it doesn't have to be like that. So back to the science experiment. If I go to a secluded place in the middle of nowhere in the nature, will I be more productive? Will I get more work done? Will I finish my master's degree on time? Basically without having to purchase another term. I've been here almost a few months now, and I'm learning a lot, and so far the answer is no. The reason why is because of the people interaction. I'm learning that I need interactions with humans for the health and balance of my brain and ways of living, to maintain productivity. Finding spaces that have basically a little desk in the middle of the forest and no interaction or very minimal interaction with humans does not help in productivity as I originally thought. At the time of doing all of this, I was trying to find peace, so I think it was a piece of the puzzle. I think it was a necessary step, but for the long haul and the overall experiment, I think the answer is no. But I could settle with the conclusion that it's a first step that was necessary, but not a long-term step. Using some science jargon, feels like it's like an atom that was stripped of all of its electrons in its outer electron cloud, down to its bare minimum protons and neutrons, which is the nucleus. And now I'm in this stage of, if we're using the analogy of atoms, gaining more electrons, rebuilding my outer shield, my external, after solidifying my internal again. For me specifically, being in nature is part of that, solidifying the internal, making the foundation, my inner soul solid, coming back to my roots, which for me is nature. It is, it's a lot of things that I could explain in further videos, but for me it's very grounding, it's very healthy, it's what I needed at the time. But it's, I follow my intuition, I follow the wind, and the wind is saying I need people interaction, or more of it. Because in a place like this, if you could imagine, with a rural valley in the middle of Brazil, with a village with no cell phone service, can you imagine that there's no co-works? So there really isn't much space to interact with other people who are being productive. I can't take advantage of what they call body doubling, which is basically working with someone else, and it helps you be consistent and productive, especially for people who have minds and who function the way that I do. An obstacle, just like in life. So we gotta find a way around the obstacle so that we can keep going back to the path. Right now, I'm in the obstacle. I'm finding a way around the obstruction so that I can get back on track. So the goal is to get back on track. For me, that's getting back into work that is fulfilling for me, that works for who I am, works for my soul, works for the way my brain works, and at the same time sticking true to my values and core beliefs, which is helping people, staying positive, being happy, being excited to go places, being excited to engage and interact with people without fear of being who you are, your authentic self. So trying to get back on that path. And then sometimes you think you're on track, but then you have to do another obstacle and pivot to get back on course again. And then that could be a series, that could take time, that could take patience, that could take struggle, money, finances, heartbreak. And then sometimes you end up in a jungle and don't know how you got there, and you gotta push through all the weeds, try not to get stuck in the mud, climb the hills, dodge the branches, and try to come out alive and surviving after. So for me, it's been a dedication to finding that clean path, the path that feels good, that feels right, that feels intuitive with my soul, really for health. Completely burnt out trying to fit into molds and systems and work and careers that is overexerting myself and not really recalibrating, re-energizing myself, maintaining a healthy balance just because of push with all the demands, especially as a teacher. But being a teacher brought me to gave me an opportunity to take advantage of some of my privilege, which is a video that I'd like to share in the future about what my privilege has granted me and how I'm able to do certain things. But it comes at a cost, and it's something I'd like to share in another video. If you guys are interested in that, shoot it in the comments if you'd love to see something like that. Just keep it a buck, let's keep it real. So just a little bit on some of the things I didn't, where I was wrong. If I came to a secluded area in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of nature, then I will be more productive? The answer was not really for me, and that's because I learned that, I've known this about myself, but but I didn't think it would have to do with my productivity. Is that people energize me. People help me be productive. Body doubling is real. Working with someone next to you is really helpful for especially people like me. So if that's something you struggle with too, subscribe. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot we could learn from each other. There's a lot we could engage in, all for really health and knowledge and evolution. Because my brain wasn't getting all the balance it needed, which led to me not doing some of my work because I got distracted doing other things, trying to fulfill that energy that I was missing and longing for, which was connecting with humans. Online doesn't really do it, especially. That's a whole nother. I could do a whole video on the online thing, but the idea is people in person engagement. So I pivoted. So there were some obstacles I came across. The goal is be productive, get your work done, try not to have to buy another term to finish your master's degree so that you could follow that clear path. So I'm still trying to find that road. I'm not going to be in this area as long as I originally planned. So I pivoted and said, okay, what am I missing? Engaging with people. What do I need to be physically working next to people to have basically a normal rhythm of people engagement? I'm also really need, my independence and my alone time, but I need the option to be able to work with people. I need the option to be able to engage and activate those areas of my brain that are healthy for me and contribute to my overall balance of life and my evolution. So, with that being said, I'm going back to Rio de Janeiro, which is a place in my soul. So a few quick things to say about Rio. My father's a Carioca, which means he was born and raised there. I am a dual citizen of USA and Brazil, which is one of my privileges that allows me to take advantage of the opportunity to stay a longer period of time here and spend a little more time dedicating to myself and my independence and finishing my master's degree. Also in engaging with my spirit, I talked about rebuilding my core and expanding outward again. And Rio is just a city that really taps on all the areas of who I am that is really healthy for my balance wheel and my balance of life. Just the health scene, right? They have boardwalks, they have beaches where it fits the type of workouts I do, calisthenics. They have bars and workout equipment basically on the street. Just a happy city, happy people, lots of different communities to be involved in, multiple co-work spaces that I'm going to take advantage of. I have a lot of family there that I could visit and spend time with and have a more grounding feeling. And to just connect and just work on the next elevation, the next evolution of the path that I'm trying to find amongst all the obstacles. So I'm going to get my needs met in the sense that I'll be able to have a healthy rhythm of exercise. I'll be able to go to a co-work space where I could engage in other people being productive. I could share different creative ideas and pursuits I have. There's a big startup scene there. And I love to dance. Let's just keep it real. I love dancing, and this isn't a place that I could really go out and dance and they're not gonna bust baile funky in the clubs out here. Let's keep it real. So I need that every now and then just for the health, and I need to shake it out. I gotta shake it out a little bit. So I love dancing. It's a part of my overall health. And the last time I really was dancing was the last time I was in Rio, 2 years ago. So another reason I'm going to Rio is because in my data analysis from all the times that I've been there, and especially the last time I was there, it's the place that I got the most productive work done. I was in a co-work space, I was engaging with other people being productive, so I got a lot done there. And obviously going to a co-work space again, I intend to fully replicate that, and I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be replicated and I'll be even more productive. I'm also going to be taking advantage of a privilege I have to partake in a few weeks course of Portuguese language learning, which is elaborated on it more in the video that I post about privilege, but there isn't too much of an out-of-pocket expense for me to partake in that program. Long story short, due to the years that I put into teaching through a government-funded program that recruits professionals to teach in low-income communities, basically. So that allowed me to continue my education with a lesser cost than if I didn't have these opportunities. So, here comes a big obstacle. And I found a way over the biggest obstacle while I'm here. So let's see if I can find a way over this one. I think we found a way. So basically, body doubling, right? Having someone next to me to work with so that I could maintain my productivity, my focus. I started researching online avenues to do this, to the point where I fully designed my whole entrepreneurial endeavor to create that online platform that I almost started creating a minimal viable product for, not even joking. But luckily I found something in between that's gonna do the job, and I've been on a trial week this week, and it's gotten me really far. And basically the 2 weeks before this I was really struggling, wasn't really getting much done, struggling with other things in the context of everything that I've been talking about. So there's an online platform which it's basically co-working group chats where you just have minimal check-ins and just you share your goals. It's encouraging, it's positive. You could sign up for different ones for different lengths of time. So that's been working for me in the time being. I really hope I hold up and keep consistent with it. There is a monthly fee. So if anyone's interested in learning more about that platform and reviews and feedback on it, I'll be happy to share it. Just, post in the comments, let me know, and I'll be happy to speak more on it and provide more details. So I'm on my way to a waterfall, and we're gonna call that the clear path that led to the beautiful rainbow at the end. Everything of desire and need and happiness and joy. So we'll end the video on some shots of that when I get there. Once we find we're working on the obstacles getting to the clear path. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes resilience, it takes strength, it takes courage, and belief, really belief in yourself more than anything. Belief in your spirit, your soul, your ability, which we all have. Just gotta tap into it, and learn how to tap into it. So subscribe. Got a lot to talk about, got a lot to visit, have a lot of knowledge to gain, ideas to share, energy to share, wisdom to pass, wisdom to gain, love. It's all about love. Feeling free to be authentic in a comfortable setting. So that's what I want this channel to be about. It's the foundation of love, authenticity, support, engagement. Really just a positive space. If any of this is resonating with you, give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'd like to keep doing more of these. I'd like to talk about a lot of different things. I want to get into art, music, talking more about neurodivergence and systems that are oppressive, whether that's intentional or not. I'm not wearing a foil cap, that's not my job, but systems can be oppressive, whether they're intentional or not. And especially for someone like me, or maybe like you too, and your brain works in a similar way, or in multiple ways, really is the way to say it, that there's a way around it. There's a support system we could continue to build for each other. There's empathy we could gain. There's a lot of learning we could do as a cohesive society and organization. My life has turned into a foundation of scientific thinking, scientific process in the way that I do my own experiments. on myself, experiment with different things purposely, intentionally, such as what I'm doing here and right now. All for further gain. And deeper than that is to be able to take that information and help other people with that. So that's really the goal here. So again, if this is resonating with you, subscribe. See you guys next time.